Ben Shapiro unloaded a clip on everybody at the end of this video. No one is talking about it. Okay, what am I getting at? There's some conspiracy theories that he addressed here in terms of why people think that they're failing. And it's really just everybody, the left, the right, everybody slides into these sorts of things. And it's a conspiratorial type of thinking that positions people to remove their ability for making good choices to overall improve their situation. And it was so subtle, and he kind of brushed over it. Now, this is in the context of the whole plagiarism scandal with the president of Harvard, who has since stepped down.
On the left, if you're failing, it's because, as stated before, you're victimized by the white oppressors. And this is a prevalent ideology, particularly among young people. 79% of people 18 to 24 agree with that. That if you fail...
79% of people agree with that. That if you fail, it's because of the oppressor-oppressed paradox. Now, some of you guys are already triggered that we're talking about this. Some of you guys are already, you're frustrated that he's talking about this. It's okay. He gives everybody the smoke. 79% is crazy. It's a crazy statistic.
Prevalent ideology, particularly among young people. 79% of people 18 to 24 agree with that. That if you fail, if you suck at life, that's not because you've made bad decisions. It's because you're being victimized by some evil cadre of people in the back room who are screwing you. On the...
That sound familiar? That sound familiar? You aren't doing well because of XYZ oppressors on the left. Now listen to... yeah, dunk on the libs, right? No. He comes for a lot of you guys as well that are on the right. Check what he says out.
The right, if you are failing, it's also, shockingly, because of a cadre of evil people in the back room who are screwing you. Maybe it's the...
This always ends up like usually around Zionism or lizard people. One of those two. It usually goes that direction, right? It's like the Zionist or the lizard people.
Hedge fund managers. Maybe it's the people who love free markets. And maybe it's people who want to maximize profits instead of, turning this all over to a bunch of government bureaucrats for government subsidization of particular electoral cliques. Understand that the theory of populism, which is effectively speaking that your own failures are not under your own control ever, ever, ever. That's modern populism, at least. Doesn't have to be that way, but that's what it is right now. That theory breeds more incompetence. It makes the world worse. More people fail. And then because...
It breeds more incompetence. The idea that your life is where it is because of outside forces that you can't control is actually setting you and I up to have a defeated mindset, and it breeds more incompetence. Yikes.
As more people fail, the beauty is that it's a completely unfalsifiable system in theory. Mm-hmm. As more people fail, the answer is not, maybe we got this wrong. Maybe we ought to promote merit. It becomes, well, that conspiracy theory, man, that must be true. That conspiracy is so strong. And then, because you believe that conspiracy, you don't get competent at things. And then you fail more. And then you're like, oh, man, every year it's getting worse. Here's the reality. The meritocracy is the great American idea. The meritocracy, the idea that if you work hard and if you are smart and if you make good moral decisions, you will succeed.
Generally speaking, this is the book of Proverbs. If you work hard, if you're smart, if you make good decisions, moral decisions, generally speaking, you will succeed. 100%. And with that, with the caveat, sometimes life may throw you a curveball. Sometimes a drunk driver might run through a red light and crash into you. Those things do happen, right? But generally speaking, if you work hard, if you're smart, which means that you need to know what to work hard at within your capacity and within where the opportunities are, not just where your passions are, and you make good moral decisions, like what? What's the most obvious one? Marriage before carriage. Marriage before carriage. I mean, that alone economically destroys most people. If you do that out of order, this is like unequivocally proven. This is basic stuff that is now controversial to say today.
That is a unique Western, beautiful idea. It is the best idea, maybe the best idea in all of human history. Because
Absolutely.
What it suggests is that if you make the right decisions, you can create positive externalities for everybody else. See, competence creates great externalities for everybody. It makes the world better for everyone. Elon Musk being competent at building cars makes better cars for you. Elon Musk sucking at building cars would be really bad. And the same thing is true in every single job. It is true in every area of life. We need competence in our government. We need competence in our institutions. If we don't get competence, things are likely to get worse and worse. And then people will blame, ironically, the system and call for more control by people who still have not actually shown any competence in these areas. So what does all this add up to? It adds up to 2024 is going to be an absolute, like, unless these trends are reversed, unless these lessons are learned and people start to get it through their heads, that meritocracy matters and incompetence should not be rewarded, that perhaps we should seek common ground, at least with regard to baseline American principles, instead of ripping each other apart, that weakness breeds aggression, that there are lots of people worldwide and domestically who don't think like you, and that there are people who actually wish to pervert the minds of your, unless we actually get real about the world, in other words. That's the real short story here. Unless we get real about the world, we're not just going to get 2023 again. We're going to get way worse.
Interesting to hear him talk about that. Interesting to hear him send some shots at people, at conservatives. I'm all for it. Like, because some of you guys are really enamored with Tucker Carlson, but when you really look beneath the surface, he's perpetuating the same stuff. The big guy can't get ahead. It's because of the bankers, and it's because of globalism, and it's because of this, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, if you think that the biggest variables about you becoming successful or achieving what you feel like you can achieve is outside forces that you can't control, you're doomed to fail. You're doomed to fail. Now, I'm not saying there aren't factors at play and there aren't all kinds of variables at play, but what I am saying is that generally speaking, you are responsible for your choices. And the biggest way to move the needle is not by outside things and complaining about things you can't control. It's about changing the things you can control. It's about changing the things you can't control. If you can take ownership of the things you can't control, you're going to be way more likely to actually change in the areas you need to change into. And this is didn't know this was controversial. Hey, instead of worrying about white oppressors or the elite bankers destroying the world, how about you just make the very best choices you can make? How about you just make the best choice? What are you talking about? Oh, I don't know, who you're in a relationship with, how you spend your money, what you put in your mouth, what you do for work, what skills you're acquiring, what people you're around. Focus on those areas. You focus on those areas, it becomes a lot harder to blame everybody else for your problems, right? It becomes a lot harder to blame everybody else for your problems. Now, there are real problems that we are, experiencing. It's harder to buy a home. Fair enough. It is harder to buy a home. That's true. It's harder to eat, to get food. Right? It's to get why are Pop-Tarts cheaper than vegetables in many cases? Sure. Like, yes, there are real problems. Why is there subsidies to sugar and high fructose? Yeah, there's real external problems. I'm not going to deny those. But that doesn't mean that you have to stay stuck in the rat race. I won't say it's white oppressive, but the system is meant to keep you trapped and in the rat race. Okay. Are you incapable of changing what you do to not keep yourself trapped in a rat race? And so I think there's a ton of perspective on that. But what I'm saying is, I'm saying that people who hold to this end up, unfortunately, being stuck. Right and left wing are both part of the same bird. Oh yeah, it's like the Spider-Man meme, right? You guys know the Spider-Man meme where they're all this, like, Spider-Man is pointing at Spider-Man. Have you developed new skills recently? We just talked about the need to do hard things in the previous topic. What was the last hard thing you did that was genuinely hard? Not just for you, but like me and my son play Spider-Man. We're on a hard level right now. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. Me and my friend playing Spider-Man, we're on a hard level. It's frustrating. No. Are you doing hard things that are deemed valuable by other people in the marketplace? Are you learning new skills? Are you learning new skills that other people can value from? That's what I'm getting at, right? And so I don't know how many people are like genuinely speaking. I don't know how many people are like, yes, I'm locked in, I'm tapped in, I'm constantly learning to do new things. Why? Because I want to be the very best version of myself that God created me to be. I want to do the very most with the time, talent, and treasure God's given me. I want to do the very best. I don't want to be the guy who buries his talent. I want to be the one that does the very best. And so that's how those would be the questions I would ask. Because and you have to answer that for yourself. I don't know. I don't know that for you. For me, I'm genuinely always trying to level up and improve my skill set, improve everything I'm doing. You should see the amount of time we spend tinkering with lights and cameras and things here, little things here that you guys may not even notice, but over time they compound and they get better and better. The videos we've been making, consistently making more videos, but better videos. Right? Like our retention graphs are improving. More people are finishing our videos. We went from a 38, 35%. I'm getting real techie in terms of the YouTube stuff. 35%, 38% completion rate of our videos, average view duration, 35, 38%. So our last 4 videos were all in the 50s. That means that 50% of the people watching our videos are actually finishing them. That means we almost doubled. I'm telling you guys things we're doing right now in real time to get better. And before I was doing YouTube, I was doing other things to get better. We see according to the Bible that prayer is extremely important in terms of us being transformed from the inside out when we get aligned with God's will. For the Christians watching this channel, I want you guys to implement these spiritual disciplines in your day-to-day life. And the only way I've been able to do this consistently is through writing down my prayers in a prayer journal that does a few things. One, it allows me to reflect and come to God humbly and ask Him to move on my behalf. And 2, it allows me to document my prayers, which ultimately help me remember the very things that I was praying for and see the hand of God tangibly in my life when He answers them. So I would urge you, consider writing down your prayers. It could be in a blank notebook. It could even be on your phone. Or you could check out the one I personally designed and used from my own quiet time and spiritual discipline that I think will be a huge blessing. It's the exact structure and system that I've used for years to pray and be more consistent in my spiritual disciplines. You can pick yours up today by clicking the link in the pinned comment below. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.